Yo, I'm gonna get straight to the point with this video. I'm a top 1% player currently ranked Grandmaster in Marvel Rivals, and this video will 100% help you climb ranked. It's that simple. I'm gonna be talking about hero diversity, focus of attention in ranked matches, and ranked FAQ that will genuinely help you improve and understand Marvel Rivals ranked from the bottom up. If you enjoy gaming content and updates, make sure to subscribe for daily content. Much love, goats. Let's check this out. Now, something incredibly important that I want to lead with is the simple fact that you will not rank up past platinum rank if you don't have a consistent minimum 2 or preferably 3 roles that you are relatively good at. I'm talking about being well-rounded on support, tank, and DPS. And this is for multiple reasons. Sure, if you're not the average gamer and have an embarrassing amount of experience in competitive games, this might not apply to you specifically. But for everyone else, there are 2 main reasons that one-tricking doesn't really work to climb past plat ranked in this game specifically. Number 1, teammates are incredibly stubborn in game, and you will absolutely need to pick up slack where they suck. It's just that simple. Be the bigger teammate. It will only help you in the end. Ranking up consistently really happens when you can win those games that you thought were a complete loss, not those game wins that you see coming from an absolute mile away. When you can fill the gap that your teammates are missing, this can help immensely for loss mitigation or preventing those small mistakes that add up and result in a match loss. Being able to do this is absolutely huge. You will see great results if you can learn to pick up on what the team comp is missing and fill it efficiently. This is part of climbing and ranking up. Number 2, ranked bans are enforced after Diamond. This means that if you're one of those people that like to abuse highly oppressive characters like Hela or Hawkeye, you won't be seeing the light of day past Platinum. But this also means that even if you don't play those heroes, sometimes your main character can just randomly get banned in a match, and you're gonna have to keep up. If you can't, you'll be the worst teammate in the squad. Here's what I recommend for the most well-rounded heroes that will help you consistently climb. Having these guys in your arsenal, meaning being able to relatively seamlessly switch between them, will indeed make you a better player. For tank role, I recommend learning Strange. Dr. Strange is incredibly well-rounded and just a top percentile team impact player. For DPS role, learn Punisher. He's rarely banned in upper rank matches. He's also very well-rounded, close and mid-range, and is very consistent for damage output. For healer role, learn Mantis. She's rarely banned in upper rank matches, has a great ultimate ability, and is also a very consistent healer. Now, here's what you need to understand about hero selection specifically. The top 5 strongest characters in the game for climbing consistently, especially if you're solo, are number 5, Hela and Hawkeye. I'm rating both Hela and Hawkeye at number 5 because there's a huge stipulation that a lot of people don't understand, and I saw it happen incredibly often in plat to diamond lobbies. These are 2 of the most damage oppressive heroes in the game, yes, but they are also 2 of the most highly banned heroes past platinum ranked. This means you will more than likely never be able to main these heroes again past platinum rank. These 2 heroes have both been banned for 80% of my ranked games past plat 1. What I've seen happen to a lot of players that get stuck in lower elos is that they play these oppressive characters, then bottom out once hero bans come along at diamond rank and can never make it past diamond because they aren't skilled enough at any other heroes. This is a gigantic mistake to make, and I honestly recommend not doing it at all. Now, for top ranked solo heroes, number 4, Mantis. From a Grandmaster player, trust me when I say this, the impact that Mantis has in game is absolutely massive. I know you're probably thinking, yo, Luna is better, but listen, Mantis has great perks for team play. She has a low ban rate past platinum, meaning she definitely is a safe pick, and she can also damage boost teammates to help secure first picks in fights. She can AoE heal and speed boost her entire team at the same time with her ultimate ability, which makes for great team combos. She's an insanely solid healer to have in your arsenal. Number 3, Punisher. Punisher is most likely the most well-rounded DPS character in Marvel Rivals. If you look at his kit, he can shell out unreal damage numbers at range with his turret and assault rifle, or even in close quarters fights with his shotgun. He has a zipline for increased movement capabilities, and his ultimate ability can turn a match on its side altogether. If your team is lacking someone that can consistently put out big damage numbers or finish those low HP enemies, Punisher is your best pick. Number 2, Dr. Strange. Dr. Strange is arguably the best hero in the entire Marvel Rivals game. Here's why. Dr. Strange's shield alone is capable of blocking majority of the damage ultimate abilities in the game. You can block Spider-Man ult, Magneto ult, Groot ult, Punisher, Hela, Winter Soldier, Scarlet Witch, Star-Lord, Namor. These are all ultimate abilities that can be countered simply by using one of Dr. Strange's normal abilities. The impact that you can have in a match is just beautiful. Additionally, Strange has a lethal close range kit, which is tailored to dominate majority of the fights you take in Marvel Rivals. The point and payload modes are literally designed for him. He has knockback capabilities, close range damage, and his ultimate ability freezes surrounding enemies, i.e. an entire team playing a single objective can be nuked on the spot. Strange definitely requires some IQ to score squeeze out the most utility possible out of his kit, but even now, he still has some crazy untapped potential that I'm sure we haven't even realized yet. And number 1 on the ranked solo queue list is Luna Snow. For majority of players, Luna Snow is simply going to be the absolute most value you can get in the entire game with the absolute least effort. It's that simple. That's why she's ranked number 1. In regards to solo queue for ranked, you can deny almost any ultimate ability in the game simply by holding your ult and listening for enemy audio cues. Luna Snow gets her ultimate incredibly fast as well, so majority of huge team fights, you can grant everyone on your team near invincibility for playmaking. It's just a trump card that currently cannot be beat in solo queue. She's a great healer capable of stunning enemies and shelling out crazy amounts of health for the team, so all around definitely the most valuable player when it comes to winning team fights. Next topic, focus of attention. Having incredible focus of attention is paramount for being able to help your team secure consistent wins, even with randoms. Yes, it's possible. This is basically understanding your situational awareness in accordance with what role you're playing specifically. Now, here's how having focus of attention in game works to your complete advantage. For tanks, there are 2 main focuses for tanks because there are 2 specific roles that a tank can play in game. That's main tank and off tank. Main tank typically is the most reliable tank, one that you can use for cover, one that helps the team secure points, or one that's going to eat a lot of attention and incoming damage. Your main tanks are going to be Strange, Magneto, and Groot. These 3 main tanks are absolute damage sponges, which will basically serve as a distraction for majority of the game and focus on objectives. Then there's off tank, which is going to most likely be your dive tanks. Off tanks are mainly supposed to shell out more damage and dive healers and smaller health pool characters to help secure a team pick or a player elimination on the enemy team. A great dive tank looks for small health pool enemies and splits them from their team using their health advantage to secure team kills. A great off tank will typically dive alongside duelist teammates like Black Panther to be very aggressive to enemy backlines and disrupt their composure. These off tanks are Thor, Bruce Banner, Penny, and Venom. Besides Penny, majority of these tanks are going to be focusing enemy healers to play for a pick. Penny is a unique tank though, who is great for playing points specifically. These are your main objectives based on what tank you play. For healers, this is a bit more simple. For ranked, healers have 2 massive purposes: damage mitigation and then ultimate ability counters. For damage mitigation, as a healer, you just want to shell out as much health for your team possible, obviously. Some healers like Mantis and Rocket have great abilities that help amplify your team's damage output, but for the most part, simply hold that heal button down until you pass out. The second objective, however, is incredibly important, and I feel like most people don't understand this task completely yet. But in Marvel Rivals, most healers literally have ultimate abilities designed to completely counter enemy team plays. You as a healer want to hold your ultimate ability until the second that an enemy player pops an oppressive ult, like Hela's Death from Above or even Star-Lord's aimbot. Being able to counter these ults gives your entire team a huge advantage in that upcoming fight, so don't sparingly throw out ult when you think you're gonna die. Hold on to it until you can make some real value from it, unless your entire team is on the verge of completely being annihilated. I get it. These are the 2 main objectives any good healer should keep in mind when trying to climb in ranked. Now, DPS have the most simple role in the entire game. Every single moment that you are alive on the map, you should be focusing on getting a kill, not shooting at a shield randomly, not poking at a tank with 1,000 health, curing a kill. This means lining up angles on enemy players to take them out completely. Some DPS in this game like Wolverine target tanks specifically, and others like Black Panther specialize in terrorizing enemy healers. Regardless to who it is you're playing, you have almost no other focus in the entire game. It's really that simple. Now, obviously securing kills without dying is tough, but it's pretty much the only challenge that you face as a DPS character. You're not ulting to counter enemy plays, you're not tanking damage, you are securing picks for your team. That simple. Many people still have a noob mentality when it comes to things like stats and damage numbers. If you do 25,000 damage, 20,000 of that was just you shooting directly into a Groot wall. Did you really do anything at all? Picks create space for your team to move up, so know your focus and play with that in mind. Now, for the ranked full breakdown FAQ, I'm going to answer some questions that a lot of people have raised in the past. What are some great strats for holding points? Regardless of what role you're playing, you need to position yourself for a point of advantage, which is most likely off positions. This is dangerous, but least expected frags will always be the most rewarding. When your team secures points and you want to hold, if you're on healer, hop off point and reposition yourself so that you're hard to dive to, but you still can see and heal your team. If you're playing tank, position yourself so that the enemy walks right into your trap, and if you're DPS, position yourself so that an enemy randomly wanders into you while you're fully prepared. When should I reposition for picks in ranked? DPS typically the most valuable players when it comes to picks, but the best time to reposition for picks is when your team is already engaged in a fight and distracting the enemies, or when your team has won a team fight and the enemies are running back from spawn. These are the two absolute best times. What sort of aggression should I have when it comes to being a DPS player? The best top Grandmaster DPS players are almost always ahead of their team in off positions. That will help them weave into a fight, get a pick, then immediately weave back out. The best sort of aggression is relatively relentless, but the best time to be aggressive is early or when your team is engaging in fights. As healers, where should I stand when attacking and defending? First off, this is obvious, but healers literally never want to be in front line. Next, you almost always want to have a 15-meter space between you and the nearest tank. A tank is going to be your best friend as a healer, so if you get dove, head straight to the tank, do not back up and run to random corners of the map. No one's going to be able to help you. As a tank, what are my primary goals when fighting for point? When playing off tank, you absolutely need to dive enemy healers to give your team an opening to get a pick, and as a main tank, you need to relentlessly play the objective, guarding the point and your healers. How do I play off my teammates who have zero communication? I like to call this tag. You want to actively be reading your teammates' plays, and if you see that you can assist, already be within range to help them and simply back them up. That is the most you can do. What type of team comps seem to be more efficient when we're lacking? One thing that I see a lot of people not mention is simply how strong 3 healers or 3 DPS comps can be in Marvel Rivals specifically. This isn't a game where there's a dire need for 2 tanks, so if your team is lacking damage, swap for DPS. Or if you guys are dying a lot, try a 3rd healer. These comps actually work really well. If there are 3 DPS on my team that won't swap, what should I do? The best method is to build around them. People are most likely only playing what they are good at or what they want to learn, so support them and your team will be much better off. Play a tank capable of soloing, like Groot, Magneto, or Strange. Also, before I go, pro tip, sometimes the enemy team literally is just better. Sometimes you are not going to take that win home. It was not written in the cards for you, and that is okay. Just try to not let that get to your mental and reset for the next match. Being tilted and playing literally never helps. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe for daily uploads. Much love, goats, and thanks for joining me in the dojo.